Hi everyone, Chinese urban village Pokemon trainer Little One here. Including this episode, I have made 3 videos about Shenzhen, all about urban villages. Not only because I'm right now a resident, but over 10 million people in the city live in urban villages in Shenzhen. That's half of the city's population. Compared to $1 million, $2 million, and $4 million commercial building, those dense, small, illegal buildings are very cheap. So in this video, I came to Shenzhen's largest urban village, Baishizhou. It's currently being demolished and rebuilt. When I came here, half of the village was gone. Now they are building a 74-floor apartment instead. Here is a visible leap in the development process. It's very obvious. The development gap gives you a glimpse into Shenzhen's future. Shenzhen will jump from messy horizontal expansion to intense vertical growth. The development can be compared based on demolished villages. Take Yunhe area of Gangxia village for example. Both of Baishi and Yunhe were located by the side of Shenan Avenue, which is a major fast road in Shenzhen. Today, Yunhe area in Gangxia has become part of the city center. Below it sits a luxurious subway hub. Above it rises the city booming commercial district. The luxurious store at the entrance just intimidated me from going in. I'm afraid of the prices inside, really. Both the old Yunhe and Gangxia were standing in the middle of the rich land, unmatched its surroundings. Although today's Gangxia has not been fully demolished yet, parts of the village are still left. You will know the reason later. If we call Gangxia is a commercial area for the rich, then Baishizhou will be a residential area for the rich people in Shenzhen. It's surrounded by golf courses, large amusement parks, high-end neighborhoods. In the past, the poor village sat right in the middle of the rich people's land, separated from the rich lifestyle by only a wall and some trees. No wonder it's been pulled down. No wonder. Before it was demolished, it served as a low-rent area for people out of town or migrant workers, very different from today. The plants on the window has weathered. The rooms are empty. Such a change. Back then, over 140,000 residents squeezed on 0.6 square kilometers land here. The area equals to 86 soccer fields, and each soccer field has 1,633 soccer players. Residents. After the demolition, those soccer players will have to move away to find similar cheap housing. The migration was spectacular, but I came late. They have left 2 years ago. Very sad. But what hit the news headline not the migration itself, but the generous compensation, although it doesn't have an exact number. But after my rational and rough calculation, the compensation is around 70 billion yuan, which is about $10 billion, will be given among the original 1878 native villages. The compensation will be based on building area, so the amount varies. But even counted on average, each person would be given a compensation equals to $5 million, the money that most of the Shenzhen residents couldn't make in their lives. On the surface, you see, the villagers got lucky and benefited from urban development. But on the other side, villagers actually don't have the property right of those buildings. They have neither land use certificates or property ownership certificates, but occupied the land in advance. The generous compensation plan to some extent causes it that villagers rush to occupy land and build buildings preparing for the demolition. They scrambled to add extra floors to their houses, tried to get more compensation. They took advantage of the demolition plan. But the villagers aren't entirely to blame. Villagers rushed to occupy land because land value increasing. As Shenzhen expanded, rural land became urban land, the value was upgraded. But the villagers were able to occupy land means that land ownership is unclear in China. China is a socialist country, but land is neither fully public or fully private. In Chinese cities, land is state-owned, while in the countryside, land is ambiguous collective ownership. It's a collective ownership in name, but operates as a privation from power distributed form. For example, the village head and his relatives can claim more land, and villages competed with other villages to occupy land. and villagers competed with other villagers in the village to add floors. Nowadays, the competition is increasingly becoming a financial burden. The Shenzhen government hasn't claimed the land back, but satisfied greedy villagers, not because they are generous, because ultimately the competition will be passed on to later home buyers in Shenzhen, and pushing the housing price to a higher place. Shenzhen already has the highest housing price in mainland China. The median price for an apartment is around $800,000, similar to NYC and Boston. Considering the average salary in Shenzhen, Shenzhen residents would be one of the most burdened home buyers in the world. High housing prices in Shenzhen has two main reasons. First, Shenzhen is too small. Second, small land has too many poor villages. Among all the major cities in China, Shenzhen has the least amount of land. Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Chongqing are the top 4 largest cities in China, but the land area of Shenzhen is only about 1/8 the size of Beijing, 1/3 the size of Shanghai, 1/31st the size of Chongqing. The shortage in land is becoming more and more obvious. The reason for its shortage is that, at first, Chinese government underestimated Shenzhen's development. In 1979, China established Shenzhen and allocated it the area of a county called Blauen. Today, the county has become the 3rd largest city in China, but the developments are still based on the area of that original small county. This is the major constraint on Shenzhen's future development. Out of Shenzhen's total 1,023 square kilometers of buildable land, today the government only has about 30 square kilometers of buildable land. Unless Shenzhen could take land from neighborhood per city like Huizhou, otherwise Shenzhen still needs to demolishing more villages. But in 2025, the native Shenzhen villages make up only about 3.11% of the city population, but occupy 48.8% of the housing stock, nearly half. Considering the housing price, the compensation for continuous demolishing those villages would be in trillion yuan range. So in short term, Shenzhen can't solve the housing problem, and housing price will keep rising. At the end of this video, I hope this video could be useful for you to rule your own country in the future and become one of the masters of your country and participate in discussion on national development like China. In the end, I still provide 3 possible solutions for Shenzhen. First is to forcibly take the land back, but it will cause conflict. To avoid it, here's the second approach. It's like the most countries in the world, introducing property tax. China doesn't have any real property tax, but urban villages take away the public resources. The tax should at least offset the cost of the demolishing fee. The third option is maintain the superficial harmony. We still can see Shenzhen government is resistant to change, so it's possible that Shenzhen will continue to maintain the current state to maintain the superficial harmony. After all, the government hasn't suffered any loss in the whole process.